Hi everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Let's Draw Fairy Tales, we choose a fairy tale and we draw it. I will also read the fairy tale to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's begin. Today I'm going to show you how to draw the three little pigs from the fairy tale, The Three Little Pigs. So let's begin. These are the supplies that you'll need to draw the three little pigs today. You'll need a piece of paper or a drawing pad, and I just wanted to show you the size of mine. Mine is a standard size drawing pad or piece of paper. It's 11.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long. So you'll need a piece of paper, you'll need a pencil, an eraser, and if you have one of those dollar store brushes, an old dollar store paintbrush that you haven't used to paint with, you can use it to wipe off dust and eraser bits from your page. And we're also going to need a lot of color. I have coloring pencils today, and I'm going to show you the colors that we're going to use. We're going to use pink, red, and black as our main colors. And for the clothing that the pigs are wearing, you can choose any color that you want. I've got blue, yellow, brown, purple, orange, green. Why don't you keep your box of coloring pencils handy so that you can choose what color you want to make their clothes. But I'm going to use all of these colors. I'm also going to use a black fine tip marker. So if you have one of those, you can use that too. And last but not least, I'm going to use a piece of wax paper, and I'll show you why. Just let me clear my canvas. As I'm right-handed, so I can draw something here and I can draw something. Why don't I give you a perfect example? I can draw a pig here, and I can draw a little pig here and another pig here. And if I want to go back and put some detail, you can see my hand is going to wipe across my canvas, and I'm going to get pencil marks on my hand. So I always put down wax paper when I'm working on one side, and it works the same if you're left-handed. Put the wax paper as you're moving along the canvas so you don't get pencil marks and color on your skin. You can also use a blank piece of paper or a folded up paper towel for this, whatever you have handy. So let's begin. I'm just going to wipe off my canvas here, and I'm going to start drawing my three little pigs. I'm going to use a big part of my page. So to start making the pigs, we're going to do the heads first. The heads are circles. Okay, we're going to do 3 of those since there are 3 pigs. All right, and the third little pig right here. Okay, and now we're going to do the ears. Look at this picture for a second. Do you recognize what this is? This is a Hershey's Kiss, and this is going to be the shape of the pig's ears. So I'll take my paper and I'll show you. You can practice on a piece of paper if you want. Try to draw a Hershey's Kiss. Just like this. You're going to start on one side, come to a point, bring it down and across. That's how we're going to make the pig's ears. So why don't I show you how I do it here? And I'm going to start using my wax paper already so I don't get any pencil on my hand. So I'm going to start on, we're going to give the pig's ears, we're going to put them on the sides of the head. So here we go. One little Hershey kiss here. One little Hershey kiss here. And there we go. We've got 2 pig ears. And inside we're going to put a little mark like this. We're not going to put it all the way up to the point. Just a little mark like this. And that's how you make your pig ears. So let's go ahead and give the other 2 pigs some ears with a little line in the middle. Round, point, and down with a little line in the middle. There we go. All the pigs have some ears now. I'll give you just a moment if you need to catch up. You may hear a little background noise. I've got my fan going because it's a little warm in my room right now. So now we're going to draw the bodies of the pigs. Now the bodies are going to be round circles as well. There, kind of like a snowman. Round circles. Round circles. There we go. Okay. So now what I'd like to do is give them a face. My dog Jack is next to me and he's rolling around, so you might hear a few things. So if you follow any of my drawing lessons, you know that when I draw my eyes, I draw them the shapes of eggs. So here we go. Here's one egg-shaped eye. And we're going to put another small egg-shaped here at the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing for the second eye. An egg shape with a little egg shape inside on the bottom. Let's do that for the other 2 pigs also. Oh, Jack, can't you see that I'm working here? I'm not really working. This is playtime for me when I'm drawing. So an oval shape and another one inside. Let's do that for the 3rd pig now. A big oval shape and a smaller one on the inside. Same thing here, a big oval shape and a smaller one on the inside. Okay, so we've got all of their eyes done. The next thing we're going to do is their nose and their mouth. Their nose is also called their snout. So the nose is easy. It's just a circle, like that, with 2 dots for the nostril. And then we'll give them a big smile. Okay? So let's do the same thing for the other 2 pigs. A circle for the snout with 2 little dots for the nostril and a big smile. Okay, let's do the 3rd one. a circle for the snout, 2 little dots for the nostrils, and a big smile. There we go. You know, we're getting a lot of practice because we have 3 pigs here. So let me start with the arms and the legs. Watch how I do the arms. It's actually, they're wearing shirts and overalls, so this is actually his sleeve. Watch how I do this. Just like that. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Okay. And we can do that for the other 2 pigs too. If you want his arms to be longer, you can make the sleeves longer. This is your creation. There we go. This guy's a little fatter. Now we're going to give them hands. Now for the hands, they're going to be shaped like W's. Watch. Short little W's. See? Short little W's. And we'll do that for the other 2 pigs as well. Short little W's. Another short little W here. And another one here. We have to make sure all the pigs have hands. There. Now let's give them legs and feet. So here's how we're going to do it. Watch, I'm going to put a little rectangle like this, and a little rectangle like this. They have short little legs. Let's do the same thing on the other pigs. Little rectangle like this, and another little rectangle like this. They're looking pretty good so far. So the 3rd pig needs some short little legs. We'll make a little rectangle here and a little rectangle here. Wonderful. Let's give them some feet. I guess they're called hooves. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with the hands, W shapes. You can make them as big or as small as you want. Little W shapes. Okay? Little W's. Little W's. And finally, for the last pig, let's give him some feet. Little W's. Okay, so now we have to draw in the overalls, and this is really easy. You're just going to draw a curved line like this, and then you have to give him some straps for his overalls. Watch how I do this. I'm going to put 2 lines down here and 2 lines over here. Those are the straps. And we can put a little button here like that. And we'll do the same thing for the other 2. A curved line and 2 little lines here with a button, and 2 little lines here with another button. Okay? And we'll do that for the third pig. A curved line, 2 little lines coming down with a button, and 2 little lines here coming down with a button. I'll give you a moment to catch up. So the last thing we have to draw in right now is the curly tail. So I'm going to go about here and do a curly, curly tail. A curly, curly tail. Curly, curly tail. Now we have our pigs all drawn in. We're going to give them some color now. Now let's take our pink pencil and we're going to start coloring in the pigs. We're going to color in the ears and the face, being careful not to get any pink into the eyes, okay? So let's begin. If you're using coloring pencils, I want you to color with a very, very light touch. You don't need to press down hard at all. And make sure to turn your pencil once in a while so that you don't wear down one side. Because if you wear down one side, you have to sharpen more. And the more you have to sharpen, the less time you have with your pencil. It'll wear down really quick. So we want to make sure that we don't press too hard and we turn our pencil. And if you press down too hard, you might hurt your hand too. And if your hand gets tired, you have to go like this. Sometimes you just won't feel like drawing anymore, and we don't want that. I'm being very careful not to get the pink color into the pig's eye. We're coloring the nose too. Turn your pencil. Turn your pencil, don't forget. Okay, so I'm finished the first pig. I'm going to go on to the second one and then the third one, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm coloring the pink into the ears, all over the face, but not in the eyes. I like using this wax paper because it keeps my hand from getting dirty, but sometimes it gets caught in my sleeve and it does this. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but I don't mind because I would rather not get my hand full of pencil and coloring pencil. Don't forget to turn your pencil. I'm being careful here not to get pink into the eyes. This is very, very relaxing, isn't it? I love fairy tales. I was reading fairy tales all day, trying to decide which one I was going to draw today. But I really like the lesson of the three little pigs, and I'm going to tell you the fairy tale of the three little pigs later. I just want to start getting some color onto these little pigs. Don't forget to turn your pencil. And this, when I tell you to turn your pencil, if you're using crayons, I want you to do the same thing. Turn your crayon once in a while, because you can wear down a crayon on one side too. I'm being careful now not to get the pink into the eyes. But if you do, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We're supposed to be having fun here and learning. Turn your pencil once in a while. Okay, so I've got the first layer on. I'm actually going to go back to each pig and I'm going to color it in a second time, and that's called putting on a second layer. And it makes a big difference with the color. Unless I want something to be very light or maybe a little transparent, I will always put a second layer of color on everything that I'm drawing and coloring. All right, how are you guys doing? I hope I'm not going too fast for you. Okay, so I've put on my second layer, and can you see the difference? This pig's face is so much more pink than this one because of the second layer of color. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the second pig. I remember when I was a kid, I used to love drawing with crayons. It was a big deal for me when I got as a gift a 64 pack of crayons. And the 64 pack of crayons came with a sharpener, a crayon sharpener. I remember that. That was a big treat for me to have all of those crayons as a kid. And I talked about this in another video, but I never had art lessons as a kid. I did a little bit of art on my own, but otherwise I didn't really do much of that at all. So I only really started getting into drawing and painting when I was an adult. So the second layer is done on our second little pig. The third little pig needs a second layer of color as well. Trying not to get the pink into the eye. They're looking pretty pink here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I used a lot of this crayon. It wore down pretty fast, so I'm going to sharpen it again. And if you guys want to catch up, I'll give you a few moments to do that while I sharpen my pencil. Now I have a really sharp point. You see that? A little piece of stuff at the end that I can brush off here. So how are you doing? Did you catch up? Is everyone doing okay? So the next thing we're going to color in are the hands and the feet. They're pink also. So I'm going to use a very light touch and color in the hands and the feet. Turning my pencil once in a while. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to apply a second layer to each pig's hands and feet, just so I don't forget to do it. Okay, so the first pig is done. I'm starting my second pig here. Don't forget to turn your pencil. Okay. And now I'm going to apply the second layer. Color it in a second time, just to make it nice and pink. Okay. Little pink feet. Now for my third pig here. Okay, now I'm going to color it in a second time, applying the second layer. Just like that. Great. There we go. So I'll give you guys a few moments to catch up, and then we'll start coloring in the clothing. Okay, let's start to fill in the colors of the overalls. And I'm choosing blue for the first pig, brown for the second pig, and purple for the third pig. And you can choose any color that you like. You can make them all blue, you can make them all brown, any color you want. These are your pigs. So I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm going to show you the area where we're coloring in. We're coloring in the straps, this whole round area here, and the two little bottoms of their pants. This is part of the overall here, and all of this, okay? So I'm going to color this in, and I'm going to tell you the fairy tale of the three little pigs. Once upon a time, there was a mama pig, and she had 3 piglets. When those piglets were big enough to leave the house, she set them free, but she told them one thing before they left. And that thing was, don't forget to turn your pencil. That's not what she said. She said, whatever you do, make sure you do it well. Don't cut corners, don't rush into anything, do a good job with everything you do. That was her advice to her 3 little pigs. So the three little pigs set off on their own, and they all realized they had to build houses for themselves. So the first little pig decided to build a house made of straw. It wasn't a very strong house, but he was more interested in playtime. He didn't want to spend a lot of time on the house, so he wanted to play. So he built his house out of straw. The second little pig felt the same way. He just wanted to play. So he built his house out of sticks. And it wasn't a very strong house either, but he was happy because he could play. The third little pig remembered his mama's advice, and he took his time and he built his house out of bricks, and it was a very solid house, and he was very proud of himself, even though he didn't have much time to play. Now I'm going to stop the story there just to let you know that I'm putting in a second layer, and don't forget to turn your pencil. So one day a big bad wolf came to town, and he wanted to get to those pigs. So he went to the first little pig's house, the house made of straw, and he said, little pig, let me in." And the first little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf replied, "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And the wolf took a big deep breath and he blew the house in. The first little pig was lucky and he escaped from the wolf. He ran to his brother's house, the second little pig, and they hid inside together. But the big bad wolf followed him. And he went to the house made of sticks and he said, little pigs, let me in." And the second little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf replied, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And he did. He took a deep breath and he blew the house in. So the two pigs were scared and they ran away. They were lucky to escape. And they arrived at their brother's house, the house made of bricks. And they hid in there from the big bad wolf. But the big bad wolf followed them. I'm going to stop the story for now because I'm finished here with the overalls of the first pig. I've done my second layer and it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go on to the second pig, and I think I'm going to make the second pig, his overalls are going to be purple. So I'm going to do the same thing as here. I'm going to lightly color in the straps, this whole area, and these two rectangles, and I'm going to remember to turn my pencil. Now let me continue with the fairy tale. The big bad wolf arrived at the house of bricks, the house made of bricks. And he said, little pigs, let me in." And the third little pig was very confident because he knew he built a very good house. And he said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the wolf laughed and he said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And he took a deep breath and he tried to blow the house down and he couldn't do it. He took another deep breath and he tried to blow the house down again, but he couldn't do it. So he looked around for a way to get into the house and he saw the chimney. But the third little pig noticed that he was looking at the chimney, so the third little pig put a big pot of boiling water into the fireplace. And when the big bad wolf came down the chimney, he fell into the boiling pot of water, and he yelped, and he ran away, never to return. And the three little pigs lived happily ever after. Now, what is the moral of this story? I'll let you think about it. And the moral just means, what lesson do you learn from this story? And as you think about that, I am going to go ahead and color in the purple a second time for my second layer. And don't worry about these buttons. We're gonna color them in with black after so they don't get lost. Don't forget to turn your pencil as you're coloring. So what do you think the moral of this fairy tale is? Don't rush anything. Always do a good job. Don't cut corners. Work hard and work well. And listen to the advice of your mother. That is the moral of the story of the three little pigs. Did you like that? I told you I've been reading fairy tales all day. And I really like the moral of that story. You can see the difference between this is 2 layers. That means I've colored it in twice. And this is only once. The purple is a much deeper color, isn't it? It's always nicer to have 2 layers of color. So remember the advice of the mama pig who said to work hard and don't rush anything. Work well. And if you do, you'll always be proud of yourself because you know you've done a good job, right? There's no sense rushing anything. I really like the colors of that I chose for their overalls. I think they're really nice. How are yours doing? Are you doing okay? I'm going to go and color in the third pig's overalls with a brown color. And I'm going to do the same thing, starting with the straps. Filling in the entire area here with light coloring motion, turning my pencil once in a while. This color brown reminds me of when I was in the 3rd grade. Our teacher wanted us to write a story. Anything we wanted to write about, we were allowed to write about. So I wrote a story about crayons. I really did. Don't forget to turn your pencil. My story was called The Brown Crayon. And it was about crayons. How there was a box of crayons, and every time the kids opened up the box of crayons, they took out the pinks and the yellows and the blues and the purples and the greens. And the poor brown crayon never got chosen. So he was sad and he was always stuck in his box. But one day a young boy came along and he wanted to draw a lion. And the brown crayon got very excited because he knew that the lion could be brown. And the little boy chose the brown crayon, and the brown crayon was so happy. That was the story I made up when I was in the 3rd grade. All right, I'm just filling in the bottom part of his pants here. Okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to color it in a second time, putting in a second layer of color to make it a little more intense and dark. Don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while so you don't wear down the tip on one side. Don't you find this so relaxing? I find it so relaxing to take out my drawing pad and draw things and color them in. Every time you see me go like this, it's because I'm turning my pencil. These pigs are looking pretty snazzy, aren't they? There. Actually, I'm looking at them and they look almost like businessmen with their white shirts. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to give them colorful shirts. I'll let you catch up there for a minute. So are you all caught up, my friends? Let's start to put some color in their shirts. And I think I'm choosing orange for the first pig's shirt. And there's 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 spots are where I'm going to color in with orange. That's the first spot. This is the second spot. The third spot here. The fourth spot. And the 5th spot. I'm going to put my wax paper down so I don't get my hand dirty. Okay, I'm going to go back and color it in a second time, putting in a second layer, turning my pencil so that we have a nice bright orange color. See the difference already? I love adding second layers. And I'm going to tell you a little tip here. As you can see, the blue and the purple and the brown, they're all darker colors than an orange, for example. So if you're coloring it in, you don't have to be so particular and say, oh, I have to stay in this rectangle. If you go over the blue a little, it's okay. It's really not going to show, so you don't have to worry about being so particular. See? I'm actually coloring in a little here, but you can't even see it because I'm applying it very lightly. So that should help you to relax a little bit and not worry about it. Look at my orange and blue guy. Okay, how you guys doing? I'm choosing yellow as my next color to fill in the shirt of the second little pig. I love yellow and purple together. I think that they look great together. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and put a second layer of yellow, coloring it in a second time. Turning my pencil so we can have a nice bright yellow shirt under those purple overalls. And you see here too, if I color over the purple strap a little, it's no big deal. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now I've got one more shirt to do. How are you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying this and having fun. I'm going to do green for this one. Green and brown look good together. Don't forget to turn your pencil. And you see, I'm not being too careful about staying in the lines here, because brown is darker than green, than this green anyway. So it's not going to show if I accidentally get some green on the brown. It would show if I got it on the pink though, so let's be careful that way. Okay, so guess what I'm about to say? I'm putting in a second layer. And turn your pencil. If someone guessed that, then you're right too. A second layer. Turn your pencil. Don't press too hard. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm going to say. All right. Very cool. Look at this. It's looking good, huh? I'll give you a moment there to catch up. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is put a little bit of detail with either a black coloring pencil or a fine tip marker. And if you don't have either of those, you can use your regular pencil and just go over things so they're a little darker. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. And some of you probably already know something that we're going to do, which is the eyes. But first we're going to go and do that little line that we put in the pig's ear. Let's outline that little line just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and outline the pig's eyes, that oval. Okay? And the inside oval we're going to outline. And we're going to color it in black. We always end with the detail work. And I don't know why they call it detail work, but because to me it's not work, it's fun. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with his other eye. Outline the big oval. And then the small oval. And color that in with black. There, you see how his eyes are standing out now? All of my eyes look like eggs. Most of them. Okay, now we're going to do his nose and his mouth. We're just going to outline what we already drew in pencil. just to make it stand out a little more. There. Now let's do his smile, his big smile. And you know what? I think we're going to give him some cheeks. This is how you give them cheeks. You do a little curve at the end of the smile and it looks like they have cheeks. That's kind of neat, huh? Okay, remember those buttons? Let's just color in a circle and a circle so that we can see the buttons. And the last thing that we're going to outline is the curly tail. So let's just go over that pencil that we already drew on, just to make it stand out a bit more. Doesn't he look good? He looks great. So I'll let you catch up there. All right. Now let's do the second pig. We'll do the same thing we did on the first pig. We'll do the little line in the ear. Okay. And we're going to outline the eye, the outside of the eye, that oval. And the inside of the eye, that inside oval. And we're going to color that inside oval in with black. Okay. Now let's do the second eye. Outlining that big oval. And the inside oval that looks like an egg. And we're going to color that inside oval with black. Great. Now we're going to outline the nose and the mouth. Just go over the lines you already drew in pencil. And the nostrils. Okay. And that smile. And don't forget to give him some cheeks. A little curvy line at the end of each smile. There we go. 2 happy pigs so far. Now, oh yes, don't forget the buttons. 2 buttons here. And the curly tail. There we go. Okay, this was a long lesson. I hope that you're enjoying it. It wasn't too long for you. But I couldn't just draw 1 pig when the story was the 3 little pigs. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with the third pig. Those little lines in the ears. Okay. 1 eye, that large egg-shaped oval, and then the smaller egg-shaped oval that's inside the eye, which is the pupil. And we're going to color that in with black. Okay. Now let's do that second eye. Outline the large oval And then the smaller oval that's inside, that smaller egg shape. And let's color that smaller oval in, all in black. Okay. Now let's outline the nose and the mouth. Just go over those pencil lines that you already drew. And the two little nostrils. All right, let's give him that big smile and some cheeks. There we go. The two little buttons. And last but not least, the third little pig's curly tail. Look at how cute they look. I told you we were going to use a red color. Well, we're going to give them some rosy cheeks. Just make little light red circles right above that curvy line that you gave him for his cheeks. Okay, he's got rosy cheeks. Let's do that here too. Just draw some light circles with red so that they all have rosy cheeks. There we go. Don't they look absolutely cute? So now we'll sign our work. Every time you create a work of art, every time you draw something or paint something, I want you to take ownership of it, be proud of it, and sign your name. Because that's your work of art, your creation, and it's beautiful, and you should be proud of yourself. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, my friends. I had a really fun time doing this. So we'll see you next time on Let's Draw Fairy Tales. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.